Dean, just after looking back at last night and getting some sleep, just again your thoughts on the victory and just how these guys have recovered today.
Yeah, I mean, we'll recover fine. Obviously, we talked about last night. They're professional athletes. They're in phenomenal shape, and their recovery is fantastic. So both teams will recover and come out hungry. There's a lot of things that that we saw this morning that we're looking forward to correcting. Certainly later in the game, our start was real good, our first two periods, but they took the game over, and they had a lot of real good looks that Gus had to be real good in the overtime in order to get us to where we got to.
Could that be a preview of what's to come, Dean? Like, can that competitiveness, the tightness, can that last the whole series? And can these two teams withstand that for?
Oh, I think so. I think we're so evenly matched. Everybody talked about it prior, and it obviously, came to light last night. It's just both teams they're separated by obviously very small margins. So. It's going to be a wonderful series, right?
Dean, you've got star power in Boldy and Kaprizov that are proven scorers, but when the playoffs start, the rink shrinks. To have players like Steele and Hartman, kind of those players that are on the second wave step up, how valuable is that for a team this time of year?
Yeah, the depth, right, is that, we obviously Billy went out, got depth in some people, obviously, and, we've got four lines that we can think that can play against anybody, can score. The 6D and guys that aren't even playing. Yeah, we've got depth on our hockey club, so that's a nice, obviously an asset to have, and certainly if other people can score and you can get that second and third scoring waves, what have you, it obviously is good for the hockey club.
Dean, you mentioned the calm with this team. What did you observe between the first overtime and the second overtime? Did you go into the locker room? And
we always go in. I mean, we were all able to talk last night because normally it's just three guys talk, right? First or before the game, and then first and second. But we were all able to go and have a little chat. So you guys know we each coach goes in there, or we figure out who's going to send a message in there. But we had little chats, couple little adjustments here and there. But basically it was reinforcing a lot of stuff that we were doing.
Did Jonas talk? Sense that you never got the sense that they were tense and.
No.
Consumed by them.
No, and through the whole game and overtime, and the one timeout and the two overtimes, and it came at an opportunistic time for them in the 10-minute mark, and they had told us that prior to it, and the players are a little caught off guard why we had the timeout, halfway through the power play, but that is the rule, and but we were fortunate to get through it. But no, our composure was real good, and we talked about that. The step, learning from the experience of last year. We did it for one game, and but it has to be validated, obviously, going forward.
How much kudos does the training staff deserve in those intermissions that they're trying to keep players hydrated, and it looked like snacks are being passed around? I mean, what scene did you see in there, and how were they prepared?
Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches somewhere. There's cold pizza in our room at the end of the game. So, yeah, I mean, it's such a professional atmosphere, right? I mean, the trainers are professional, the players obviously, and they're ready. Our trainers are on it, as I'm sure their guys are, is trying to get them the nutrition and clearly the hydration in those situations to keep them going to play at the high level that both teams did for that long.
Dean, when you scratched Dumba in January after the Washington game, I think you inferred to us that this was not a shock to him, that you had been telling him, clean up some of the same mistakes, and he kept on doing it. What were you seeing before, and how has he responded since to to maybe impress you on how well he's been defensively since?
Simplified. He's simplified everything in his game. He hasn't made anything complicated. He's just making simple passes. He's competing. His stick is real good. He's boxing out. He's playing a physical, hard game, but staying disciplined. And those were the things that he knows he has to play that way to have success. It just gets away, and obviously there's adjustments through the season, which we've talked probably each and every player about different adjustments that we'd like them to work on, and it wasn't coming as quickly as us, but probably more importantly for him. And he was very accountable when he was sat out. He's pissed off, right, which is great, but he's very accountable, and you've seen how he came back and he's reacted. He's played real good.
You mentioned after the game last night that you were really happy that he kept composed when they were going after him. How important will that now be for him to continue that? Because one's got to think that after the play last night, he may be hunted the rest of the series.
Well, hopefully they do. I mean, we'll stay as disciplined as we can. Obviously, that's a key factor in any playoff series is the discipline. And just because there's a situation last night doesn't mean that our focus discipline-wise changes at all.
How do you balance the discipline with not getting pushed around? Like, if they are going to take liberties, like, do you want at some point to say, like, enough?
We don't get pushed around. No, I'm not worried about that. Our group's very accountable in that area. Our group's very physical, and push come to shove, we'll stand up. But we've got to, stay on that line.
He's skated really hard the last 3 days. Like, how do you come out of that? This test after the 3 tests in a row, basically.
Well, he's come out of it really well. He's, we're just going to evaluate every day and see where he's at, see where his recovery's at, and hopefully we make a decision for him to play sooner than later.
Was today more just like take the day off and calm down? Like let things calm down?
Yeah, he's been pushing real hard, right? He'll take morning skate tomorrow, and then we'll see.
Can I ask you about Suter last night? Kaprizov had ate a couple really hard cross checks. Is this something you're concerned about, or something that you might want to talk to Don Van Massenhoven about if this continues?
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about their players, obviously. Mm-hmm. I'll talk about our players, but it's going to be a hard physical series. Certainly, the referee and advisor that we meet with all the time, every day, or after every game, we'll talk to them. They'll talk to them, and I'm sure they've got concerns about our guys. We've got some concerns of what happened last night, and it just happens. But the bottom line, it's intense, hockey, and some people are going to cross the line.
When Faber first showed up in Chicago, what were your expectations in terms of, did you think then maybe he'd be able to be in the playoff lineup, or at what moment in those first couple of games did you look at him and just watch him play and like, okay, this is something we can?
Yeah, no, honestly, when we first got, we didn't say, okay, you got to get him 2 games so that he can play in the playoffs. What we've seen from him, how he conducted himself as a player and as a person, as a teammate, that's when we started to go, oh, wait a minute, maybe he should be in our lineup, right? You guys know, you've seen him. He's got a composure about him and a maturity level about him that's real good. Obviously, above his years. I mean, he's been a leader. And he's obviously stepped in and played really well last night, and we look forward to him continuing to do that.
That was his play out of Marchman in the film session this morning. Like, what's that like to watch that? Because he said it was just his guy. He lost his guy, but he still recovered to get him. So in one sense,
Yeah, well, that's one area that we were going to talk about. We haven't met with the group yet. We're going to meet with them back at the hotel here. We left the game players obviously back there, so we're going to meet it this afternoon. But that's one of our focuses. Our sticks were real good in the D zone. That's one of the examples of a good dislodge stick on puck that we have to have against obviously a great offensive hockey club in the Dallas Stars.
Brodeen's, was that instinct? Or how do you do that play?
Yeah, there's several that we have to continue to do, but in order to, they still got a lot of good looks, but we have to continue to play strong defensively if we're going to give ourselves a chance.
What's your takeaway for the PK then? I mean, like 2 face-off wins, 2 set plays, but yet crunch time and overtime lights out. So how would you like to see the PK in game 2?
Well, first our face-offs have to get better. And it's not our center iceman again. I mean, we've talked about this a lot. It's everybody. We've got to be a little more on our toes and win some of those 50-50 pucks that are squirting. The two, it was it looks like it goes right back, but it is kind of a squirting puck. They obviously went right to them, both of those plays as well. So where that puck went, but we've got to get better on our face-offs for sure as a team. But yeah, we thought the penalty kill after that, what they scored 3 seconds, 7 seconds, whatever it was, and then. We thought we did some real good things on our penalty kill as we've done all year after that.
Seems like Steele won some good quality D-zone draws for you too, especially late. Like that's somewhere he's developing more trust with you guys of putting him out there, especially with not it being there too.
Yeah, that factor, right? X, the guy that's always in that spot. So we've had to have some other people come in and fill. And Steele's very very good in that area. He's always been. He's gritty. He's sticks his nose in there. So yeah, we'll be using him in that area again.
Just the nature of the game last night for Gustafson, the fact he played basically an extra half game, how does that factor into when you're thinking about what you want to do with your goaltending?
No factor. We do the same thing every day. After every game we talk about our goaltenders, as you guys know, and then we try to make a decision going forward of who what.